Hi, I'm Peter Jones, Chartered Surveyor, author and property investor, and I'm up in Newcastle. I own 5 flats in this block here and the next door block. And one of the questions I'm sometimes asked is, how do you know where to buy your properties? Well, most people are going to start by looking where they live, and that makes a lot of sense. If you look where you live, then obviously it's going to save on travel time, and if you've lived there for any length of time, you'll have local knowledge. You'll know about where all the amenities are, you'll know where the good areas are, you'll know where the bad areas are. You may even have some sort of prior knowledge as to the type of areas where particular types of tenants want to live. So there's a lot of benefits for buying at home. But not all property strategies work in every location, and that is one of the problems which people find. Now, in my experience, I've come to the conclusion that most property strategies work in most areas. But the one strategy which is hard, particularly hard to do in London and the South East where values are high, is what we could call buy-to-let using the BRR method. Buy-to-let, where we buy a property, hopefully cheaply, we add value, then we refinance to get all or most of our money back out. Because of the values in London, because the values are so high, and because of the stress test which is used by the banks, which limits the amount that they'll lend, it's very hard to use that strategy in London. So a lot of people who are based in London or the South East who want to use that strategy do find that they need to buy somewhere else. So how do you choose where to buy? Well, that's a great question. Sometimes it can be down to just doing your research. Where's the next place to London where it's going to work? And that's probably going to be the Midlands. And there's many areas in the Midlands where that property strategy will work. How do you choose between different locations, say within the Midlands or in the North? Well, sometimes it can almost be like sticking a pin in a map, to be honest, because an 8% yield in Liverpool is going to be the same as an 8% yield in Bradford, is going to be the same as an 8% yield in Manchester. What you might want to take into account, though, is where do you think the property market's going to perform best over the next 10-20 years. Now, I personally wouldn't necessarily be buying based upon that solely, because if you're going to buy for capital growth, that's a mug's game, that's speculating. Fundamentally, we're probably buying for cash flow if we're thinking about buy-to-lets, which is the context in which we're talking about this. So, to be honest, I would just choose an area where it works. If I'm comfortable with the area, big criteria which I'll be checking the whole time though is there tenant demand? Because without tenant demand, it doesn't matter what you buy or where you buy it, you're going to be stuffed. You've got to make sure that there's tenants there, and there's got to be plenty of tenant demand. Other than that, I would just be thinking about buying. Another way of thinking about where to buy might not be so much in terms of location, but who do you know? Who do you know perhaps if you live in London, for example, and you want to buy in Manchester? Maybe you don't buy in Manchester because you've actually got a friend who lives in Sheffield, who's a very good friend, or maybe you know a property sourcer in Sheffield, or maybe you've got a potential JV partner in Liverpool. And so maybe it's not actually about the location, it's about who you could work with, who can help you to achieve your property goals by helping you find the right sort of property. So, very quick video. I'm trying to cover a topic we could talk about for days in 2 minutes, but it fundamentally comes down to, does what you want to do work at home? If it does, that's probably the answer, do it at home. If what you want to do doesn't work at home, then you're going to have to find somewhere else. You need to do your research, you need to think about what you're actually trying to achieve through property, find the area where that works, or alternatively, find somebody who can help you to find that right type of property, and then location actually isn't the answer or the question or the issue, it's more about the person. Well, I hope you found that informative and inspirational. Until next time, here's to successful property investing.